The 80s were an important decade for heavy metal albums, and one of the most important records released during this time was Slayer's 1986 record, Rain in Blood. This brought them onto the radar for a lot of metal fans. The Rick Rubin produced LP was delayed due to a controversy involving the opening track, Angel of Death, and that's what we're going to explore in today's video. Slayer would release their second album, Hell Awaits, in 1984 on Metal Blade Records. For their follow-up and third album, the band would nab a deal with Def Jam Records, an odd move at the time, given that they were mostly a hip-hop label. But founder Rick Rubin was a huge metal fan and convinced the band to sign with him, making them the first rock act to sign to the label. When it came to writing their third record, Slayer would take a different approach, with bassist and frontman Tom Araya telling Metal Hammer in 2012, everybody else was doing something slow. Kerry King and Jeff Hanneman said they didn't want to do a slow record. They wanted to do something fast. They didn't realize it was going to be that fast. The opening track of the album would be Angel of Death, which would be solely written by guitarist Jeff Hanneman, who at the time had read several books about Germany's atrocities during World War II. Hanneman would tell author Paul Elliott the strange place he wrote the song, recalling in his article for Louder Sound. The last time I spoke to Hanneman in 2009, he explained the Angel of Death was written in a most unlikely setting, at the home of his girlfriend's parents. He laughed about the bizarre nature of his creative process. It's weird, when I'm angry the music doesn't flow, but when I'm happy the evil comes out. Hanneman would spend his years on tour with the band visiting war museums and reading history books about World War II, with Kerry King remembering, Jeff was super intelligent about history. World War II became his thing. Hanneman's father was an American soldier during World War II, and he would bring his son home medals and other items taken off the corpses of German soldiers. It was that fascination with Germany's World War II history that landed the band in trouble. Angel of Death would take its name after German scientist Joseph Mengele, who conducted horrific experiments on the prisoners at Auschwitz. Columbia Records, who was Def Jam Records' distributor, was already unhappy about the album's cover, which showed genitalia and the Pope's hat. When they saw the lyrics for Angel of Death, they flat out rejected it. Rubin stood by the band and said no to removing the song. Columbia head Walter Yetnikoff would reportedly say, according to Rolling Stone, my shareholders were all Jewish. Tom Araya would tell Team Rock in 2012, all of a sudden, the record company doesn't want to release the album because of this song. When Jeff brought in the song, we thought, wow, that's really cool. Mengele was the guy who did all the crazy, terrible things. Then all of a sudden, we discovered that people had a problem with that. We were like, Def Jam would be forced to take the album to Geffen Records. Geffen was wary of being associated with the record, and while they released it, they didn't list it on their release calendar and they didn't put their logo on the album. Many in the press picked up on the lyrics of the song, with some criticizing the band for being sympathetic to Germany's World War II history. But this was a charge the band flat out denied, claiming the media misunderstood the song. Hanneman would tell the LA Times in 1988 during a profile on the band, I'm into German history. It fascinates me. It's not that I'm one of them or that I'm sympathetic to the song, it's more like a documentary. In a separate interview, Hanneman would recall, I know why people misinterpret it. It's because they get this knee-jerk reaction to it. There's nothing I put in the lyrics that necessarily said Mengele was a bad man, because to me, well, isn't that obvious? I shouldn't have to tell you that. The biggest flack from the album seemed to come from Europe, more specifically Germany. Here's Tom Araya and Jeff Hanneman talking about the controversy on the Sky Channel.
But they had problems with a special song.
Well, yeah, there's one song everybody seems to be making a big fuss over. But, you know, I think the record company, you know, we talked to a few of the representatives last night, and they were stating that, you know, they were still kind of leery about releasing a record because they don't know what kind of slack they'll be getting. But I think it'll be all right.
So they changed their minds because it was to be heard that the song, because the subject is about the Nazi regime, about Dr. Mengele.
Yeah, it's Angel of Death. It's the name of the song. It's just basically a song. This is the gentleman that wrote the song too.
So, don't you think your fans would be, they couldn't misunderstand the song, that they think that you could glorify the Nazi regime?
Yeah, a lot of people seem to misunderstand it, but it doesn't glorify him.
Yeah.
In more of a way, it puts him down, kind of, but it doesn't, you know, come out right out and say it. It's there in the lyrics, and we're not glorifying him, and we're not really trying to, you know, put him down, you know, that much, but it's just a song, it's just a story.
Yeah.
Despite the negative reaction from some, the album would chart within the Billboard Hot 100 at number 94, a huge feat for a band like Slayer, with the album eventually going gold. Guys, that does it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe.